afternoons for a variety of different participants on a variety of different topics, a lot of them having to do with marketing, social media, and things that you can do during the virus to help promote and get your business restarted. I will be in the background fielding any questions you may have. Please feel free to either submit them in the chat button, or we have a Q&A button as well. I'll be monitoring those, and Cheri will take a pause 20 to 25 minutes in probably.
You say that.
Yeah, it usually goes 30. And she's also received a list of all of your questions ahead of time. So she probably has a lot of them incorporated into her presentation, and we'll be watching that as well. So also a reminder that we are recording this, and everybody will get a link after this, probably tomorrow. So if there's some things that you want to see again, you can click on the link and listen to the video. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cheri Bales, who will be taking us through email marketing Quickstart.
Hey, thanks, John. I'm glad to be here. I have been, as John said, we've been doing these weekly webinars now, I don't know, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and it feels really comfortable to me to be here talking. So I may be a little too casual for some folks when I'm clicking around and talking to myself. But overall, today I'm here representing SCORE of Kalamazoo, Southwest Michigan. I am a certified SCORE business mentor. Ask me how you can be. And also the marketing chair, and John and I and many, many other hands work to get in workshops and content and things like this webinar, since we can't come to you anymore. We are a partner of the SBA. I need to mention them. They're our governing organization. And this series is in partnership with the Women's Business Center at Cornerstone Alliance in Benton Harbor. Before we go, I have a little constant contact link here. I think this one works. If not, John will paste the new one into the comments or the questions for me. But this is going to focus on using the constant contact platform. This whole presentation will focus, and everything I show you will be in constant contact. So if you want to play along, you may go to Constant Contact and join for free. And you can see what it does and some of the more powerful things that you can do with it as I'm presenting today. So there's my email, there is my website. If you have questions, please, please, please make a note of that and give me a shout. I'm happy to answer. And that's me fake rock climbing in Phoenix with a Texas shirt on. So I don't know, that wasn't very good planning. Today, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to grow your email list. And trust me, that's one of the questions that I have on my sheet from many, many people. And I will talk about that, and I will talk about the right way and the wrong way to grow your email list, and then what to do with it. We will talk about how to write your email. Just finishing up a blog on my website that is talking about what can we market now and how do we do that. So head over to that later. I think it's published. I think you can read it. It'll be in my newsletter that I'll send out this week later on. We also like to talk about, in this, email marketing has what's called a call to action, meaning when you send me an email, you got an idea that there is something you want me to do after I read that email. And that's known as the call to action. And that's you, business persons, asking your readers, clients, customers, to complete an action. Call now, click now, order now, buy now, join the club, get our newsletter. Finally, we'll talk a little bit about how to finalize and send your campaign, and it's really helpful that you can schedule these in advance, and then you can actually schedule some other cool tools with it. So quick, what's the #1 app on most smartphones? Guess what? It's email. So there are a lot of statistics, and in fact, the SCORE newsletter that came out, most of you got on the 11th, I think, that came out actually had some statistics and some data on email marketing, and it's still doing wonders and leading the pack in terms of marketing tools available to businesses right now. I have heard estimated that there is a 800% return on investment for email marketing. Trust me, I tried to verify that number with SCORE, and it's posted in 2 different places. And then Constant Contact, you'll see, more people own a cell phone than a toothbrush. Ooh, Constant Contact, you'll see that they're saying a full 88% of people, according to Pew Research Center, there's some great research organizations down there, are really checking their email on their smartphones, and 91% of people are checking it daily. And I think it's probably more than that right now, because we are so tied to our internet and our mobile devices. You know, and keep in mind that when I wrote this content, it was probably 2 days before the most recent executive orders came out. And so I'll try to update as I go along as well with new information that I know. But overall, email is really tough to beat as a marketing tool. It gets delivered. So if you post an ad on Facebook and that ad goes to, it says 124,000 people reach, and no, reach is not actually seeing it, but shown to them, 2% of your fans will see that ad or that boost or that post. Whereas email, unless you've got a list that's just not doing it, and we'll talk about why it could be that it's not doing it, most of your email is going to get delivered, and I would venture a guess that it's well over 90%, as long as you've got some valid email addresses that you're using. So the question then becomes, why email? Well, because it works everywhere. I love these little things they make for me. Email has 3 times the conversion rate of social media. And by conversion rate, I mean making someone complete your call to action. So 3 times more people will click read more, if it happens to be a call to action to send someone to the blog site, will click read more than they will on social media. And personally, I think that's because social media is social, but email is right to me. And I know you know me, or at least have me on your list. So I think I may be more likely to do business. And here's that other statistics, a $44.25 average ROI. I don't know if that's 400 or 4,000, but either way, for every dollar you spend on email marketing, there's an average ROI, return on investment, of roughly $40. That means if you perhaps bought a Constant Contact account at their intro starter rate of $20 a month, and you spent $20, that one newsletter could theoretically return, 400 times or 3 times the conversion rate for you. Some people have newsletters and some people have newsletters. And there's a difference, especially when you're communicating with new customers, I would say. Talking to your existing customers is fine. They're used to your brand and your image, and maybe it's not as polished as it could be, but they love you and they forgive that. But when we're trying to start going out and pitching to new clients, for example, or new customers, we know that first impressions matter. So we want to talk about how we can do the right things at the right time in the right place to be effective. Let's do a little primer on email design. So this is a Constant Contact email template. And you can see that up here you have the header, and I'll explain these in greater detail. You have a pre-header, which is actually going to show up in your email to your client. You want to be consistent with your brand, your logos, the colors that you use, and we can actually, Constant Contact will actually create a branded template for you if you send them to your website. You need an image, because an image tells a story. And then within the actual body of the message, you need your headline that says, buy now, time's running out. You don't want to miss this. You need your questions answered here in the message body. What is the point of this email? What is it going to do for me? Are you going to save me money? Are you giving me advance entrance into an event? Are you asking me to visit your store? Are you sending me to your online ordering site? What is it going to do for me? So urgency, limited time, 7 things remaining, those kinds of urging messages can go in there. Then the most important button or thing on this page to me is the call to action. And that is a button that when you click on it, or your reader clicks on it, will do exactly what you tell them to do. Read more, buy now, visit our website, join our email list. So that is the one thing. Remember I said lots of businesses have emails, but not all businesses have emails. That's the one thing I think that sets those apart, because you get a lot of emails from businesses that want your business. And if they don't ask you to actually buy something or take a step toward buying something, called a call to action, and you probably are not as likely to do that. Finally, this footer information down here, Constant Contact requires that as a matter of course to help your emails be unspammy. So by making you tell them you are a legitimate business and you can verify that and you're willing to tell them that, then they'll take a little bit more faith in you and they will work with you to make sure that you don't get labeled as a spammer. Okay, so we're going to change the subject header when we get ready to do this. I'm going to do a live demo at the end of this, but these are the things that you're going to have to do yourself. So you're going to want to change the subject every time, whether it's this weekend's menu, and then your pre-header could be fish tacos on Friday. But you want to make sure that you get in and you change these things, and you can see the from and the reply to. Make sure your colors are right. Make sure you add your own image and your logo if you don't have that set up in your template. Add your message. I have found that it is sometimes helpful, rather than just typing right in an email newsletter format or template like this, to go and draft it in a Word document and then strip out any kind of formatting like bullets, numbers, and then just bring it in and use the Constant Contact tools, text tools to format. Otherwise, you may get some weird alignments with bullets and numbers, but making sure that you're adding something there. So who is this message for? Meaning, who's the audience? Why do we care? Meaning, what's in it for me? What's the benefit, right? Features sell, features tell, benefits sell. And then what do I want you to do after reading this, which is your call to action. And then you will add a link, and you can modify that link to go to an email, to a website. I'll show you some different options. And then of course, Constant Contact partners with all of your most popular social media sites to allow you to either share your emails as posts, or they give you a button to allow your readers to share your newsletter themselves, which is kind of cool. But one thing I want to point out and I want to keep emphasizing is your brand and your consistency. So if your colors are navy blue and orange, don't send out a green newsletter. People won't recognize that it's from you. You want to keep your brand. You want to use the same typefaces. You want to use the same colored type for the same parts of your message. And you just want to be really consistent with this if you're going to use it properly and for a while. So we talked about how to grow your email list. Let's get into it in a little bit deeper way. I don't know if they have one here. All right, you have to have permission, whether it's implied permission, as in, let's say you're at a face-to-face networking event and you have a fishbowl for business cards, and you have a little sign that says, join our newsletter for a chance to win. And someone drops their business card into that fishbowl, you have asked for permission. All right, that's a very simple rule. If they know that giving you a business card is going to put them on a newsletter list, they can choose whether to give it to you or not. If they don't give it to you, fine. If they do give it to you, that is implied permission. Now, let's say that you just have a fishbowl sitting out and it says enter to win drawing. And they put those business cards in there and you harvest all those emails and you add them to your CRM and your email distribution list and you send them emails. Those would be considered unsolicited emails, which then could be flagged by the receiver as spam, or even by the email platform handling like Google. Google chooses what spam goes into your spam folder. So you want to make sure that you're asking people every single time. So you need to grow your list, and the best way to get permission is for people to say yes, no matter what. So the last time you signed up for an email, do you remember when that was? Was it in an email? Was it on a website? Was it on a Facebook pop-up? But think about, how did you sign up? So there's a ton of ways to get people to sign up. You can get them in person. I'll give you an example. I went to a little boutique in Texas where I got that shirt I was wearing. Went to this little boutique and you know, just want a little memento, but I saw a sign that said, ask me how to get a free gift. Well, you know, mementos from Texas, that sounded great. So I said, how do I get a free gift? And she said, you join our mailing list. I said, okay. So I gave her my address and my email and probably my phone number because it was a long form. And she gave me a pair of earrings and it was lovely. And I didn't feel pressured to sign up for an email list, and she got my permission. So then when I start receiving emails from her, I'm not surprised because I actually know the name of the store and I did business with the store. So that's one way, is just asking people, can I put you on my distribution list? When we do SCORE events, I always say, can we put you on our distribution list to get notice of events happening in the area? And that's part of what our newsletter is about. The second way is by print. You can go to this link to join our newsletter, or you can put a link to your newsletter in some of your print materials. You might have a form at an event, a feedback form, and on the bottom of the form, join our newsletter list. Think about signage. If she hadn't had, in Texas, if she hadn't had that little ask me how to get a free gift in print, I would not have seen it. So banners, signage, those are all important. Your brochure, you want to market your newsletter platform in your brochures, in your sell sheets, in your cards, whatever. And then the third way is to sign up online. So you can actually have them check a box during the checkout process if you're selling products. You could send them a link in another message that you're communicating. Maybe you're working on another team and you wanted to have those people join. You could send a link to have them join. You can actually generate a link, a join our list form in Constant Contact that's compatible with social media sites like Facebook, and also can be put on your website. So that's a couple of side tools that they have. So when you're making a purchase, when you're helping someone at events, if you're talking to vendors, if you're working with volunteers, it's just a simple little, hey, can I get your business card and put you on my mailing list? And some have an app. Constant Contact has a text to join. If you ever watch American Idol, you can vote for your favorite by texting to this number. Constant Contact has a tool that allows you to promote a text to join. So I was at a pharmacy the other day and they had their code, which was actually branded with their name, text COVID to 553-7722 in order to join our mailing list. So if I hadn't seen that, again, in print on a sign, I might not have thought about that. And that's the text to sign up function that you can look for. So you can let people know how to get to the sign up form, even though you don't have it right there handy. And online, it needs to be on your website, on your social media. Oh, I forgot email signature. You can put it in your email signature, join my mailing list. when they're making their purchase or after they've received their confirmation is another good place to put it. And that's kind of what the online form looks like. And that would take you to, that would give you something to put on your website, on your social media, that would bring people back to Constant Contact to sign up. Let's talk about writing your email. And then I think I'll take a break, John, unless you have any urgent questions, in which case now's your chance to bust in. I think I've got the list of questions here from the write-ins, and I think I'm addressing some of those. So let's keep rolling. So let's talk about how to write our email. So we know how to grow it. Right now, the biggest thing you can do with an email is to email. Okay, people are really, really hungry for process. They want to know, what are you doing to keep me safe? And I sit in on these webinars and all these COVID updates and SBA and SBDC and US Treasury and Chamber of Commerce. That is for me to find out information so that I can share that with my clients, who can then share that with their readers. And one of the biggest things that's coming out across every webinar, workshop, call that I've been on in the last 8 to 10 weeks has been, just be honest. Show your vulnerability. So it's okay to say, you know, we're really not sure yet, so we're not going to open until July 1st. And here's what we're planning to do when we open. Let's look at this a little bit. You have a choice of what types of emails you want to send, and they fall into solicitation, information, education, sign-ups. You can do a lot. This one on the left is a volunteer ask, and you'll see there's a call to action to volunteer for the growing season. So we've got our headline, our catchy image, our logo, we're using the right color schemes. We've got the dates, the times, and then the ask is, can you help? So that is the call to action. And you click the button, volunteer for the growing season if you can help. Now this one, actually, I love this example because they have 2 calls to action. Now this is an email. This came in my email box. I can, if I can't volunteer, I can still donate. Okay, so I've got 2 different calls to action. Don't feel like you can only send people to 1 click from an email newsletter. You can send it to a much further, many clicks. You can have access, like our SCORE newsletter has buttons in it to go to COVID resources, to go to webinars, to go to online event registrations. So that's the solicitation. And I know I've had nonprofits on this list. I hope that they're on with me because I do like talking about nonprofit. But this particular example is geared toward a nonprofit and an ask. And now is the right time to ask, believe it or not. The email on the right here for the Giving Tree is an informational email. Okay, so it's just saying, here's all the wonderful things we did, our volunteers, and this is me, I'm a volunteer, so they're sending it to me, just to let you know. And now it says, check out our website. That's their call to action. And instead of just saying click website, see, it says, see the preparation. So this is preparation for next year. That's a lot more exciting than click here. So try to avoid the click here. And again, that second call to action, you never know. And Constant Contact allows you to set up with PayPal, your 501c3 business PayPal account, so that you can accept donations through the Constant Contact platform. I think that's pretty cool. So time-based, do you want me to do something now? Is it a solicitation? Does it really want me to answer a call to action and respond and address something? Or is it primarily for information? All right, so back to the design. Let's see, do you want to go to that yet? Yeah, while you're right, we're talking about writing. When we write a subject line, I haven't looked at this today. When you write a subject line, it's been shown, again, this is Constant Contact research, but this subject line is what gets people to open your newsletter. Now, my own research doing newsletters for SCORE has actually shown me that if I write a question in the subject line and end it with a question mark, it gets opened more. So it's really important what it says there. I would not put Southside Cycling Newsletter in my subject line. And we'll see what they have. Look what just arrived, okay? It's not a question, but it's pretty catchy. And that subject line is what people will see first. So they're going to get a message from you, and that's what they're going to see. So that's important. There are some ways to get creative. And again, I have tested some of these myself with you and your, for example. How about John, and I didn't make this John, sorry, John. John, schedule your consultation today. If you saw that in a subject line that you received in an email, would you be curious enough to open it? Maybe. Okay, you can create a sense of urgency. When you registered for this webinar, if you registered today, you got an email that said last chance, okay? So there was a sense of urgency. The call to action was click now to sign up for the webinar. You can use humor in your subject line, and I didn't get read between the wines until later when they show you what this is really a campaign for. It's for wine. I didn't get that when I saw that. Pull at their heartstrings. Again, nonprofit needing donations. Don't say something like donate now in your subject line. Entice me to open it by writing something that's catchy, that's short and sweet, and maybe has a number in it. Numbers are big. Top 5 ways, take 3 minutes, read these 5. So those are pretty good sellers overall. Pique their interest. I'm kind of bored with this. You don't want to miss this, but if you really don't want to miss it, then and that's what you need to say. But there are, again, some more creative ways to do that. And then, like I said, ask a question. So I would publish a SCORE newsletter, and the title of the feature article would be How to Tell If Investments Are Working for Your Business. Okay, and I would say, let's just see what happens. And so Constant Contact allows me to do what's called A/B testing, A/B testing. That says I can send the same newsletter out with 2 different headlines in it, 2 different subject matter headlines. So what I did was I made one headline that was the original that said how to tell if your investments are working for your business. And then I made a second headline and sent this to the other half of the people that said, are your investments working for your business, question mark. Which one got the most opens? The one with the question mark. And like I mentioned, using numbers, 5 tips, top 10 things, top 3 things. Those are all really, really good for catching people's attention in your subject line. Here's some things, this should say spam 101, not 372. In your subject line, do not type in all caps. Do not use more than 1 exclamation point. There should never be more than 1 exclamation point unless you're talking to your sister. Don't use weird symbols. Don't try to get catchy and use the @ sign instead of an A or the $ instead of an S, because all that's going to do is flag Google, Yahoo, AOL, Hotmail, that this is some goofy, non-real business person trying to send them something. So some of the things about spam that we mentioned already, make sure that you have permission to send to people. And to avoid the spam filters, don't use, I guess I could call them inflammatory headlines or inflammatory subject lines. If it looks too good to be true, they're going to see it as a spam filter and they're going to kick it out of you. Okay, so we got the subject. Look what just arrived. Okay, what? What just arrived? That'd be my first question if I got that. So the pre-header, or you can call it a subhead, answers that question. So remember, we're still talking about what to write in our emails, and how to get people to open it is an important part of what you write. I honestly, when I started using Constant Contact, I didn't even know what these things were. It was titled 6/4 newsletter, or 6/12 draft, final preliminary draft. And I finally figured it out, and I felt a whole lot better, and my email open rate went up significantly. So again, these things are important. Again, here's some fun things. Your subject schedule, your pre-header. What am I going to get if I schedule this? You're going to get personalized tips to lead a happy life. How about urgency? Reserve your spot today. So why is it urgent? Because classes fill quickly. So the subject could ask the question, the pre-header could answer the question. There's just a few more of them here. Here it is, read between the lines, enter your photo for a chance to win big. So it's answering, what does that mean? Take 5 minutes, $10. You got numbers in your header, in your subject, and your pre-header. Guaranteed it's going to get more attention than words. And here you're really cutting to the quick there at what you want. Here's the numbered list. Get our 3 secrets and 3 questions to ask to maximize your results. And with the subject matter line with a number in it, maybe tell us what that has to do with anything. And we like ribs that will knock your socks off. Okay, then your image. We're going to talk about image until we get to the next bullet item, because we're still talking about how to write our newsletter before I show you. Big picture sells. Big, clear picture sells better. If you have to, you can create an image in Photoshop and save it as a JPEG and upload it with text and graphics and photos and everything. But it's best if you have a logo or a product that you're selling that you put that image in and that it is large enough to be seen. So not only can you now put in images, stills, you can put in a GIF or an actual link to, oh good, I'm glad they didn't make me go to the yoga video. You can actually send people from your newsletter to watch a little bit of a video there. So remember what we're talking about is that catchy image, that big, what's in this email? What do I want to know about? And we're talking about using images to get attention. We're talking about using video, and we're talking about using animation. So what to say and how to say it. And then we're going to take a break. So number 1, and look, this has everything. It's got the branding, it's got the logo, and branding just means the colors, the typefaces that you use, how you use your logo. I should define that. And just kind of the way you talk about things, that's all your brand. That's how people know you. So if you're going to put a newsletter out right away, what are you offering? I need to read that first. And reader eye movement says, if you open this, I'm going to do this again just to show you. And boom, your eyes go here. First, second, third, fourth, and then you go read this. How many of you actually did that? Raise your hands. That's a little science called reader eye movement. So there is a reason for putting these things in the newsletter. Number 1 is your headline. You're supposed to slow them down. Otherwise, they're going to go zoom right off the page. Slow them down with a big headline. And by big, I mean 24 to 36 point type maybe. So pretty big. This one is stretching all the way across the width. Then you've got, what is it going to do to help me? Remember, you're asking me to do something or buy something or read something or listen to something or watch something. What's in it for me? Here, streamline your website, streamline your payments, and streamline your visitor data. What's the call to action? Schedule a consultation. So they click that button. They probably can also click this. This has got a line under it, so you can make those hyperlinks, and these are all links, but this is the one that they want you to do. This is their lead generator, and it'll take you to their appointment form or their contact us form. So that was for profit. So it's, what are you offering? How does it help me? And what should I do next? So with nonprofit, at the top, you want to explain what you're trying to accomplish. Remember the take 5 minutes to help kids, donate $10. So that might be part of this email message internally. Take 5 minutes to help kids and then a subline underneath it, donate $10. So with a nonprofit, you want to ask people right up ahead. And again, because I did this Open River Society river cleanup, they're asking me to do what? To share my photos and videos. So they ask me right off the bat, give now, donate now, share your photos. And then they go, well, why should I care? Me, the reader, says, why should I care? Well, I read this, I go, hi, Cheri or Nicole. Thanks for your help. You're an invaluable part. Did you take any pictures? Can we have them? Share them to our Facebook page. And then boom, they hit this button and it goes to your Facebook page where they can then share and click and have a great time. Overall, beyond remember your brand, remember to spell check, remember to write it and proofread it, is just simplicity. I get a lot of too long newsletters, and I have sent a lot of too long newsletters. If you're sending a newsletter to get people to read a blog on your website, don't give them the whole blog in the newsletter. Give them 3 sentences and then a button or a link to go to your website and read your blog. So this is very simple. This is for a flower shop. Flowers for any occasion, that's that headline. There's the picture. There's what's offered, the 30% off, the weather's warming up, use our code, and our call to action. John, would you like to ask a question?
Well, I haven't had anybody submit questions along the way.
Okay.
One thing I do want to recap though, but hold on. One thing I do want to recap is up to now, I think you've covered a majority of the questions that were submitted prior, which is kind of the different components of an email campaign, how you effectively capture people's interests, ways of building your email membership.
Yep. And we're going to talk more about spam and stuff too.
Yep. And so I think the next part is you're going to go into actually building one of these real time, right?
I'm going to get there soon.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and do that? And again, I will keep monitoring for questions, so please go ahead and submit them.
Absolutely. Use that little question and answer box, or you can use the chat. In the chat, you can address everybody, or I think just the panelists. I'm not positive.
Oh, there is one thing in terms of how frequently you should send an email to clients.
Oh, that's a great question.
Do you want to do that now, or you want to do that later?
I can answer that right now, and I can answer it later, and it'll be the same answer. It depends.
All right. Why don't you go ahead?
Depends on what your message is, and we can talk a little bit about that. Hang on to that question till the end, and I think we'll have some more fodder for that discussion. Okay, so I've been throwing around call to action a lot, and the call to action is the ask, okay? If you don't have a call to action and you send out a newsletter, it's basically just a magazine. It's basically just an email. It's not a marketing tool. The call to action is what gets your readers to do something. So I'm going to show you some examples of emails with different calls to action and show you what the purpose is for each one. And you'll get a chance to look at the simple design, the headline, the photo, the message, and then the call to action. So when you're looking for someone to make a purchase, and again, we're talking about language that you use and not click here or buy now. Those are great. Donate now. I have to say that's pretty simplistic. But maybe there's something else that you could say that would intrigue me more. So schedule a consultation. I think the word free added in there is an incentive. Donate now. I think we saw some examples of that, and that's probably fine. But instead of just saying click here to buy, they're making it a little bit more interesting here. And notice that they've got their logo, their big image, their headline, they're explaining what it's for, their call to action, and their social buttons. How about this one? All right. I've actually gotten some of these. I got one from a landscape company earlier in the spring, and it said, get 10% off in the subject matter. So of course I opened it in the subject line. So I opened it. And if I am at all interested in hostas and mulch, both of which I already have, I might click on this to schedule my free estimate. Okay, so if you get the free estimate, then you get the 10% off. So this is what's known as a lead generator, and you have the ability to funnel those leads to your website, to your lead gen form, your contact us form, your appointment form from a button in Constant Contact. So we're not adding any other tools. If you've got to contact me on your website, all we're doing is plunking in that email or that URL destination right here. So some catchy things if you're giving people a deal: buy now, claim your coupon, unwrap your surprise deal. I got a call to action one day that said, want more candy? Question mark. Well, yeah, of course. So, and I don't even remember what it was for, but it's caught my attention so well. A lot of us don't promote ourselves. I have a question in my blog, in my newsletter coming out. What can we do now to market, and how? And one of the things that I'm telling people is, brag on yourself. If you're doing something nice for someone, just mention it. That's what you're paying us marketing people to do for you. So why won't you do it yourself? So for example, I have a client who, for every order placed on Wednesday between 4 and 9 p.m., will donate money to a nonprofit. That's news, okay? But we don't do enough as small business owners to promote our good deeds. And we don't promote joining our social channels enough either. So this is one of those places where we can send out an email with a call to action. Share a photo, like us on Facebook, follow us. Have you seen our Google My Business page? So we can promote our social channels through our website or through our Constant Contact email. And then this is the last one. People are afraid to do this, and I get it. It's pretty risky sticking your head out and saying, hey, can you give us a review? You're going to get a bad one. That's all there is to it. I can talk about reviews for half an hour, but you're going to get a bad one. You have to respond. You do not have to apologize, and you do not have to take blame, but you do need to respond, and you really need to respond to the positive ones. So I signed this new restaurant client on Thursday, and they had 1,500 views of the 2 photos I posted on Google My Business, and they had 5 new reviews over a 3-day period. So you can bet, as their marketing agency, that we're on the backside of that making a response. So if someone put up 5 stars, again, here's another pitch to reviews. If you just give me 5 stars, Google thinks that's invisible. They don't even care. Now it goes into calculating your overall score, which people are really, really, attached to, but Google doesn't even see that as a valid review. So tell your customers, do you love us? Tell us what we did well. Leave us a review. And with this restaurant, as I'm responding back to these folks with 5 stars and no comments, I said, we love that 5-star. We're glad to see that. Can you tell us what we did that made you happy? So I'm actually using like a 5-step process to engage that client, or to engage that customer. But because the client has asked for reviews, the client is getting the reviews. And this little trick of sending one of these out through email to your customers, and shortly after, don't go crazy, because I had a friend who got 4 emails from a company that she bought something from before she even got the something. So if your automated email is set up to trigger too fast, and you send me leave a review before I get my stuff, that's not gonna work so well. But definitely when you have a sale, or you close a deal, or you sign a customer, or somebody visits and they say good things, send them an email just like this, looks just like this. And this link, this leave a review link, our marketing research has been showing that has been much more effective at getting people to actually go do it. Because if you say, leave a Facebook review, leave a Google review, and they don't type the name of your organization or your business in exactly right, they won't find you. And then drive event registrations. This is another great way to use your emails. And a call to action, it gives you all of the data, and you guys all followed that same process to get here today through the SCORE registration, but it allows you to send out and track, so you can actually track people's attendance, and you can get information from them like those questions. But again, we're talking about what can you do and your call to action. And so the call to action here is sign up or visit our website. And make sure that you are telling them where to go. So if you're sending them to your Facebook page, share my photos and videos. And that's where it is. And I can go, because I'm a member of this group, I can go right in here and I can share my photo or my video. This could be your Facebook page and your people giving you reviews and driving registrations. All right, finalizing and sending. I think this is where I get to go live. So hold on while I blast you all, actually with my poor screen sharing abilities, because I'm going to need there we go. We're going to go into Constant Contact, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the interface within it. And then I'm going to just build a little email for you. And I will go too fast. I guarantee you I will go too fast. But I promise you can ask me questions later. I don't know if this is the one I want. Just one second. Let me see if I have. Nope, I'm going to go to another account. One moment, please. I have several. And I think this one has, the reason is I think this one has the collateral materials that I need. Otherwise, I'll be scrambling across my desktop a little bit. Okay, let's hide that. This is the Constant Contact interface. This is what you will see when you open up Constant Contact, and that's their home button. I'll tell you what these all are, and then I'll show you some of them, and some of them I won't, because they're not important right now. This COVID-19 is a really nice benefit that Constant Contact has provided for all of us partners and members. They actually have scripted and already pre-designed email templates in there so that you can use them for your COVID-19 updates, new hours, new procedures, new carry out, new mask requirements, those kinds of things. Campaigns is what Constant Contact calls its emails or its events, or you can see the next one is how to write a marketing plan. That's what they call them. These are all campaigns. See right here, it says campaigns. So whatever they are, that's what they're called. Contacts is all of you guys who are in my contacts list. And one of the nice things about contacts, don't look while I do this because I have to jump over something that's people-y, is that you can break these people into groups. So I know when I publish my June 2020 newsletter, I have a link in there to that blog story, Hey Cheri, what can we market now and how? And anyone who clicks on that link will be recorded in here. So there may not be a new contact, but I will now know that that particular contact wants to know more about whatever it is that I'm talking about. I brought in some of these. These are newsletter subscribers, people that have signed up for my newsletters. These are workshop attendees who have attended previous workshops, and some of you might end up in there. That's your contacts. Reporting shows you, it's basically your analytics. It shows you how well your emails are doing. I'm not going to go through much, but it actually will show you what each email sent, how many opens it got, how many clicks it got, how many bounces. Important, because you want to check those and make sure that there's not a gmail.co instead of .com, and how many unsubscribers. I go to the unsubscribers and I delete them immediately. I don't even ask them why. I mean, I've had friends who've unsubscribed from my mailing list. I don't care. I get them out of my system as quickly as I can. So each one of these 10, 57, that was a big one. That could have been a, yeah, when your link goes bad. but I get rid of them right away. That's all you need to know in here for reporting. This is how you create sign-up forms. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The library is where all of your images are stored. So things that you're using that we're going to use here to create our email. So it's basically an upload to library, and you can go from your computer. You can pull in, if you've tied your social networks, they've got stock images. I never have uploaded from phone, but it looks like you could. And for those of you that have been in my situation, twice now this has come up. I have a client who wants to install a downloadable coupon or a form. In this case, it was a patient profile form on their website, but the website people said, you can't have your own landing page. So we host it here under documents, and there's a link from their website. So you actually can put documents in here that people can come in and view. There's your social integration, and it will tell you how to connect all your social accounts, and you can actually see and read messages. And integrations, then you can build a website. Integrations is things like funding with WooCommerce and Shopify, and there are some plugins, integrations that it works with other apps as well. But this big blue button, it could be here, it could be over here, if you're in this campaigns view, is where you start. You start with create. And I'm not going to go through all the services that your Constant Contact account can provide, but if you follow that link and you do the sign up, you will get someone from Constant Contact to help you set some of these things up, or you can call me. So we've got email, we got email automation if it's your birthday, social posts that you can share out, just social. You don't even have to do an email. You can advertise now on social and in different places on Google, create an event, create a survey, or actually create a little bitty website, like a landing page where you can sell things. But we're creating an email, and I only have 19 minutes, and I said I could do it in 15. So they're going to give you a bunch of templates, and they're really good at being on point for, these used to be weeks and months and years old, but they're not. They are really on point now, and they're giving you some things to work on and to work around. So this is similar to the email that I'm going to create for you, but we're just going to start with this basic template. Well, that's a coronavirus update. I want one image. This one will do. And you just click that basic letter. And remember, we had some things we had to put in here. Here's our subject line, our subhead, and our subject and our pre-header. There's no other place to do this. You have to click here. And in Constant Contact, sadly, normally you have to click something to see the actual tool. So hovering doesn't do it. So I would click here and I would say, buy now, supplies limited. And what I'm going to have them buy is cookbooks going fast, and only one. I can also personalize if I have people's first and last names sorted out, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so we got our header. We know it's from me. We know it's a reply to me. First thing we need is to click on our image. And you'll see these buttons over here. If you've ever done any kind of website building with Wix or Weebly or any of those, they're basically the same tools. So to get that block, that image, I just grabbed this and dragged it over here, okay? And that's where it put it. To change that image, I have got to get rid of that because I didn't mean to leave that one there. I've got to click on it. And instead of insert image, it says edit, and it says replace in other places. And so it sometimes is a grief-filled process. But then you simply navigate to your image that you either already uploaded, or you go upload one. We're going to drop that insert into there, okay? Now, we had in our templates, we had a headline. So this is my headline. I'm going to click in. Notice how I don't have these tools when I hover over this. I'm going to click in, and then I'm going to get your basic Microsoft tools: alignment, spacing, bulleted list, font size. A good rule of thumb is 14 is what people are used to reading. So this 12 might be a little bit small for ADA or for an older audience. You also want to make sure in color, most of these templates put their text at an 80% gray, which in my mind is impeding readability. So I will switch this to solid black and see the difference. So this is my headline, which is by my cookbook. And I'm going to triple click to select that whole thing. You can click and drag, you can do all kinds of things. But the first thing I want to do is make it bigger. And I said around 20, 24. I'm going to make it bold. And then I'm going to center it. Okay, so now we have our headline. And in here, I'm going to tell people, here's the reasons why you need to buy my cookbook. I'm going to pull that down and do something different. All right, so within here then, that call to action, see they have the words call to action link, but I like buttons and I want to show you how to make a button. So this link has the ability to be targeted to any URL. Okay, so if I did cheribales.com, www. And this is that, remember that list I said if somebody clicks on the June blog, I'm going to keep track of them in a list. That's where you do that, because you can put them right in there. You can put them in the networking. So you would be able to track that. Right now I'm just going to insert it. So this is now a link to my website in text. And you can see that it's underlined, and that's nice, but I really like the button, and it's just as easy to click that button, click the drop down, which says link. You can use web page, email, a document, or a landing page. I'm going to put web page, and I'm going to go HTTP, I forgot what it said, Bales.com. Maybe that will work, and click insert. You always have to click done when you're finished. And I do want to point out that this is the color of the text right here. You wouldn't want black on gray, so the white is good. And this is the color of the button. So it says background color if you hover over them, font color, background color, and done. Now I've already added my footer in here. So this will be my name, etc. Pretend. There'll be a link, again, another call to action right here, where, and I'm just sending them all to one place, and then a link to your website and your social. You can click on this social icon. You can add the social icons. Where is that one? More. You can add your social right here. Bring this in. And that's what you're going to get are all your little icons. And then you just tie those by editing. You tie those to your account. And you can add at least 3 on there. Okay, I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to show you the most important part. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you a couple more tools first. I've got this image. This is fun. See the pink box? If I drop it here, that's how big it will be. If I drop it here, it will be the width of, or allow me to make it the width of the page of the email. If I drop it here, it's going to want a text wrap around it. If I drop it here, it's also going to text wrap around it. I'm a big fan of text wrapping. So I'm going to drop that there. And then there's some other controls out here, but don't worry about those at this point. Then I'm going to replace. See, I told you it says edit, replace. Look for something that doesn't say link when you're trying to replace a picture. Hit replace. I'm going to go to my library. I think I had a picture of my cookbook. I'm going to select it. And there is an image editing tool in here, but it's not very robust. So I'm going to add that cookbook in there. And then if I want, I can make it bigger. So now I have an email, and I want to add this little divider line because it looks kind of goofy with, you know, no lines above or below. And so I can do that. I can delete it. Just click on it. These measurements are how big, how thin, how far up, how far down, what color, and align. for these lines that you're inserting with the divider tool. And then I showed you the next one. Okay, most important button here, check and preview. And then I'm going to do like 3 things, and then I'll finish up some questions and we'll get you out of here. Number 1 thing I do is check for errors. And it's going to tell me, yeah, see, it's going to tell me some of these links are not the right links. So I don't have a Pinterest. You didn't connect your Pinterest. I don't need Pinterest. Okay, so take those out. Missing link, website. We took that one. We didn't put one in. We can take that out. When you get all the nice green things here, where's this one? Oh, that's the other missing link website. Then in order to actually test it myself, I have to go to preview. I'll start with this, and I see there's an error there, and I'm going to see if I can fix it in a second. But the second most important button is preview. And this is how you know if any of these buttons that you made actually work. And I'm going to guess, wow, it did. Okay, so that's cool. So that's how it works. It's just a link, but you can't see that unless you're in the preview mode of Constant Contact email. You can't click that. So I'm guessing if I clicked here, yes, it would go to my Facebook page or my Hannah Gold Communications page. All right, so you're like, okay, that looks good. That looks pretty good. But is it really good? And that's where you close this, you go up here one more time, and you say send test. And you always send them to john.keplinger@ScoreVolunteer. I think he gets 80 emails from me a week saying, check this and tell me if the links work. So you can enter in up to 5 people that are on your team. You can enter a note, please proofread, and then you can send. Now watch what happens when I send, because I know I'm guilty of doing this more than once. There'll be a green box. There it is. Success, your test email was sent. Well, I look away for 5 seconds and I come back and I send it again. So we don't have to do that. There's a couple of things up here that I like. I do like the mobile button. Shows you a mobile preview of what it will look like on the phone. And you can see now this line looks goofy, so I'll probably go back and take that out. But you can see all of my business information is here. This unsubscribe must be there. And then because it's powered by Constant Contact. So the thing is, I sent that to myself. Now let's see if I got it. I don't want to lose you, so I want to add a window, and I want to go to my email, and I want to see what it looks like. Come on. There it is. And here's my email. So yeah, this is a spoofed message. So I sent it, it's not really set up properly all the way through. And so if I sent this to you, you would probably get this notice too. You want to avoid this. And the reason that it's doing this is because I had that bad link in it. So this is what it looks like when it rolls into your email. It says, buy now, supplies limited. Please proofread, cookbooks going fast. This is my headline. Okay, so the whole thing is just popping in there. And then back to our links, if they work, then we're ready to send it to the world. And the way we do that is to click continue. So we've checked everything, our link is okay. I'm gonna pretend it's okay. It's this one, okay, I can get rid of that. And then that warning will go away. There we go. We got everything, there's the happy green check. We click continue and we choose to whom we want to send it. So I would say I'm going to send it to all of my Constant Contact friends. And notice you can segment, that's a deeper move. You can schedule for now or later. This is pretty intuitive. You've got times. This is handy that if you want to send to see the early results of the opens, that you can actually have them send you a message that says, ooh, this many people opened your email. Kind of cool. Remember that subject line that I mentioned, buy now, supplies limited? Here's that A/B test thing. So in this subject line, when you're getting ready to send your email, you can actually say, send half of them this one and half of them one with a question mark. And they ask you how long to wait. You can assign other to and from email addresses. You have to verify them, and your physical address will appear. So I probably shouldn't send this to all of these people. So what I'm going to do is schedule it for 10, and I'm going to click schedule so you can see what to do if you happen to do this and then go, oh crap, I found a mistake. You have to go to the campaign. Remember, the email is a campaign. Look under campaign types. If you don't see it, it's right here. You have dropped down to copy, details, preview, unschedule. That's the one you're looking for. Good news is you also can find that in here, unschedule. So I'm going to do that. But if I were to send it, I would get a report that shows my open rate, my click rate, and then down here would show me what the open rate was for each of those subject lines. And then as I have sent my email, I can now schedule it to my Facebook page and the winner of the contest. I can schedule it to my Facebook page. I can put the perfect logo in place. I can type a message that I want, and that will send people to actually read that email that I have just published on Constant Contact. That's pretty much it. Let's go back here and see what we have going after our live demo slide. So recapping with writing your content, remember those 3 questions. What do you want me to do? What's in it for me? And how do I do it? And how do you say it? For profit, what do you got? How's it going to help me? What should we do next? The nonprofit, what are you trying to accomplish? Remember, join our river cleanup. Why should the reader care? Help us save the water. How can the reader get involved? Click this button to join. Every email should have a call to action. And remember to save your work, yes. And always test your links and send a preview. This is a list, and I went through this very quickly, of the other services that Constant Contact can provide for you at varying levels. I know there is a free promo right now. You can try it free for 30 days, and I think that code is in there. I'll also include that when I send out, I got a new code yesterday, so when I send out the recording to this email. So if you're curious to know how any of these other ones work, I've done some other webinars on them. And then that's me, and that's how you find me. And I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and I have Hannah Gold's communications accounts on those as well. So John, I'm going to talk about like 2 or 3 questions that are on here. And then I think I will have answered pretty much everything. So broadcast to multiple email addresses targeting a specific audience. Okay, you have to have the emails. Nothing can start without that data. You've got to have either, you've got to download your Gmail contacts or your Outlook contacts or your AOL contacts or your friends and family list or your Facebook friends. But you have to start with valid emails. If you do not have emails for people, they're going to have a hard time getting an email address, and you're going to have a hard time starting your email marketing. So you have to start with that. And then as you are gathering those emails, this is important, I think, you're deciding how you can categorize them. So can you make an email distribution list for A-list prospects? Can you make an email distribution list for current clients' emails? Can you make a distribution list for possible client? There are different ways that you can assign these folks into your email categories, and you can segment them just kind of like file drawers with different groups that you only send the message that's appropriate to that audience. Okay, how do you get more opens and converts? I think I've told you basically. This looks like Jacqueline, thanks for joining. How do you get more opens and converts? You must get a catchy subject matter, something that will entice people to open, maybe as a question, And you must have a call to action, which is what you're calling converts. If you don't ask me to click a button to do something, then you can't yell at me because you didn't get any conversions. That's just it. If you don't have a call to action in your newsletter, you won't get a conversion. If you do, your chances are much better. So opens, question marks. I think I covered a lot of possible options for your subject matter, subject line. I keep saying that. And then making sure that you've got buttons and links out to where you want people to go. Not sure to begin how to use my email list for marketing. I think I just kind of covered that. Decide what messaging is appropriate for which market, and then bring those databases into Constant Contact and create an email message for, if not the entire group, for at least some folks that you want to talk to with that message. Set up the website and create the financial system. I don't do that in this one. You can do a website and you can use PayPal, and I think they have Zelle. They have an e-commerce place. You can do Shopify, WooCommerce. So if the question was, can you make a website in Constant Contact and sell things and collect money? The answer is yes. And then I love this. Jen's Wine says, what email strategy? I need to create one. Jen, you sent me an email the other day and it was great. And I replied to you and told you it was great. So you're already on the right path. Basically, that's all I have for today. And I think we're probably out of time. I usually run us out of time. So I want to say thanks for joining us. Next Monday, I'm going to kind of go off on my own. It'll still be through this channel, but I'm going to do Monday at 4 o'clock, how to write a marketing plan. And basically, using Constant Contact, I'll probably actually even be able to give you a sample of a marketing plan that you can download and fill in the blanks at the end of that webinar. So I will make sure to send a link out to that. Watch for it. And you can also watch our Facebook and website. Our website is swmi.score.org. And if you would like to be a mentor, click on the button that says be a mentor. And if you would like to find a mentor, someone like me or John, to talk about your small business with, click on find a mentor. So score.org, find a mentor, fill everything in, put in your zip code, and you will hear from one of us in a matter of days. Now there's only 32 of us, I think, right now. And we get an average of 25 to 30 requests for new business requests per month. A little bit slower now, so we got time. And every Tuesday and Thursday, SCORE has real-time mentoring. Just check out score.org and look for real-time mentoring. That's all I have, John.
And there still is a question about the frequency of emails.
Oh, thanks. Yes.
Turn that.
Yes, I can. So I mentioned I just took on a restaurant client. Guess how many emails they're going to send a week? Probably 5. Because right now it's really important that so many people are takeout, carry out, just starting in Michigan where we are to do dine in. They need to be reminded of what do you have to offer me and what do I have to do to get it? And so our messaging is going to be daily special. Here's how you order. Here's what we expect you to do when you pick it up. And here's what we will do when you pick it up. So those are going to go out much more frequently than, for example, my Hannah Gold emails, which usually go out once a month if I get to them. And I'm not even the best person because I don't do what I tell myself to do, but once a month because they have links to my webinars. They have, at this point in time, they have a lot of links to COVID resources that are my favorites for like PPP information, unemployment information. So short answer, depends on a couple of things. It depends on your industry. If you're in entertainment, food service, you're probably going to send them more frequently. If you're in a consulting or a service business, you may not send them as frequently, or you may decide that you want to do a daily email with helpful tips for whatever your topic is. It also depends on the availability of you and your time. Do you have time to commit to a monthly or a weekly or a daily newsletter. You know, I tell clients monthly is actually pretty ambitious. And when they're just getting started, we're shooting for quarterly. Right now, it needs to be more frequently than that because you need to keep reminding people that your business is here, that it's open, and that this is what you can do for them and how. So a non-answer kind of.
Well, it depends,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you just have to keep a pulse of your audience.
Yeah. If they start unsubscribing in droves, then you know you're sending too many.
Yep.
That's a really good indicator. And if your open rate drops dramatically, let's say 20% were opening and now it's only 10%, that might be another indicator that you're oversaturating. A lot of people just won't scroll down and click unsubscribe. They'll just let you keep sending them emails forever. And I actually went into Constant Contact reporting and generated a list of people who had not opened one score email in 5 years. I got rid of them because now my list looks so much more robust to Constant Contact, and Google's not going, you've never sent these people an email in all these years. Why do you keep sending? And it really did improve my open rate because now out of 3,000 instead of 4,000 people, I have a 20% or a 30% open rate. So get rid of the dead wood.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Cheri, for helping out. This is always a really good session. For everybody who has been online, we will be sending out a recording of this in the next day or so. So you'll have an opportunity. You'll have an opportunity to go back and listen to it again. And of course, if there's any specific questions, you do have Cheri's email. Feel free to drop her a line and get clarification on anything that she covered today. So thank you very much for participating, and we look forward to you joining us for webinars in the future.
Thanks, everybody.